Have you ever thought, what should I get that person who spends all day out in the garden and talks about things that I really don't care about? I'm here to help you out. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about 10 gifts for any gardener on your list. For those of you that are new here, my name is Brooke and this is Am Acres. I just share everything I'm doing in the garden and in our home renovations. It's just kind of a diary of what we're doing and what I'm learning along the way. So if you're new here, welcome. This video is a bit late in the season to be getting out, but I thought it would be a good idea for any last minute shoppers, and you can always put this in your back pocket for next year as well. These gifts are pretty universal and they apply to almost any gardener on your list, no matter their skill level. They're just really practical gifts. I also have a few items that I would suggest you consider more carefully before giving it to a gardener in your life. They are items that are often packaged really cute, but require a lot of maintenance and effort, and so I just thought I would give you a fair warning about those just in case you're considering them. It doesn't mean they're bad gifts, it just means you want to consider who you're giving them to. But first we're going to get into the list of the gifts I do recommend. Item number 1. A really good kneeling pad, one that is thick and cushy and made of good foam. Or you can even go a step above, and we'll discuss those in a second. But I gardened with a really cheap kneeling pad for years. I like to save money where I can so I can spend all that money on plants. So I used a kneeling pad that was really quite thin and had been worn out for quite a while. And my husband decided I needed a new one and got me this one. And it's fantastic, and it's thick and it's cushy, and it actually works to protect my knees. When my husband got me that, it was like, oh, this is so much better. So you can specialize this to the specific receiver that you are giving this gift to. So for instance, if I were going to give my mom a kneeling pad, I wouldn't give her just a standard pad. She has trouble getting up and down. She has arthritis in her knees. So I would get her either one of those kneeling benches, and I'll pop up an image of these on the screen right now, but I would either get her a kneeling bench that has handles on either side for her to get up and down on, or I would get her a kneeling stool. I guess it's not a kneeling stool, it's a stool, it's a gardening stool. So this is a really great general gift that you can cater to each person that you have on your list. Item number 2 is something my mother-in-law got me, and I didn't even know I wanted it. It's a gathering basket. She got this one from the Gardener Supply Company, which is a pretty popular company with many gardeners. But I've seen this basket in a variety of settings in a variety of stores under a variety of labels, but it's the exact same. This basket is fantastic for gathering items in your garden. I collect everything in this basket, and it's fantastic. So it's really sturdy, it holds up well, the wire isn't going to corrode easily. I mean, you don't want to leave it out in your garden for season over season without being protected, but this is a really good general gift that even if they already have one, having another one never hurts. So it's a pretty good gift to keep in mind for any gardener in your family or on your list. Item number 3 is one that might seem lackluster, but it's one that will likely be appreciated by anyone who gardens, and that is a good pair of gardening pruners. You want a good pair of shears. In my experience, Felco is the brand of shears, the brand of garden pruners that work the best, that are the most desirable, that stand up the best to time, and they also cost a little bit more than what you would pay for more budget-friendly shears. And so that might be a nice splurge gift. And even if the gardener on your list already has a pair of Felco pruners, I don't know any gardener who turns down a pair of pruners. Like, we all want more. We just keep them in various places so that when we see something that needs pruning, we don't have to walk very far. We just get them out and snip. Having a good pair of pruners really does make a difference in the work you're doing. Much like having a good kneeling pad makes a difference. It might not be a difference you notice until you switch over to a good pair of quality pruners, but once you do, you'll notice the difference. So even if the gardener on your list has a pair, if they don't have a pair, they'll like it just the same. So I would highly recommend getting one. Item number 4 is decorative garden markers. Garden markers are typically wood, plastic, or metal, and then you just write the name of the plant on there and you stick it in the garden to indicate where that plant is planted. So when you plant seeds, you know where you planted them. Decorative garden markers tend to be a step above those standard ones, and they bring a feeling of polished intention to the garden, and I've always loved the look of them. And last year for Christmas, a good friend of mine made me decorative garden markers because she went out to my garden. She's like, your garden's so pretty, and then you have these sad plastic garden markers. So she ended up making me these decorative garden markers, and they're beautiful. So she is incredibly talented and a great artist, and so she decorated rocks with the names of the plants, and they look absolutely beautiful, and they're just a pretty polished look that makes it look a little more arty, a little more fun, and it's not as utilitarian as the other garden markers that I had used. So it was a really nice gift, and one that I didn't really know I wanted until I had them. But you don't have to be an artist and make them from scratch. You can buy them online, not necessarily these, but you can buy other more polished garden markers, more permanent garden markers online, and it's just a really pretty way to spruce up the garden. And you can just go with standard ones. If you know they grow certain crops every year, you can just get the garden markers that indicate those crops. You don't have to get garden markers for everything they could possibly grow in their lifetime. Like you can just keep it to a few that you know they grow every year. Number 5 is a propagation vase, or I think they're called occasionally a plant terrarium vase. I'll pop it up on the screen here. They come in a variety of shapes and sizes, and the ones I prefer when I see them out, the ones I prefer are the ones that are in a tube shape, and you can either use it to propagate a plant in water as the medium, or you can use it to just display pretty flowers that you've grown in your garden. So I have seen them just used as vases sometimes, and they're really pretty. That might be a very nice gift to give a gardener because they can use it in whichever way they prefer, and it's also something that might allow them to display what they're doing outdoors, indoors. Item number 6 is something I still desperately need, and I have been on the hunt for probably over a year. It's a seed box. If you're wondering what my seed box looks like currently, ta-da! It's an old Amazon box with little pieces of paper telling me what's in each area, and it's really sad. If you know a gardener, chances are they need an ever-expanding seed box. So buying them a seed box is not going to be a waste. They will always need more space for seeds. I don't know how they continue to just multiply, but every year, I mean, I have more and more seeds and no other place to put them. Seed boxes can either be dedicated seed boxes. I believe you can just buy them online if you find something you like, or you can find something that isn't intentionally made to be a seed box but does work. So those old metal canisters, they're rectangular in shape. I think they were used for like army rations back in the day. You'll find them in antique stores a lot. You can use that for a seed box. You can use a variety of things as long as it keeps out the moisture. That's the most important part. You don't want your seeds starting to germinate in the packets. My recommendation is if you're looking for that and you're not going to buy a dedicated seed box, something that is labeled seed box off of Amazon or something like that, then you're going to want to take a standard size seed packet with you, because you'd be surprised how tall those are, and you might not be able to find something that tall. That's been part of my issue, is I have found a couple of boxes that I liked the look of and would have worked had they been a little bit deeper. If you're looking for that as a gift and you're looking secondhand or you're looking non-traditional, you're looking to use something that is not necessarily made to be a seed box, just bring a seed packet with you while you're shopping for it, because that will help you determine if it will work or not. Item number 7 is a seed saving kit. Many gardeners will find a plant that they really like and want to save the seeds from so they can propagate them again next year. And saving seeds is a whole lot easier when you have the right equipment and an easy place to store them. There are seed saving kits you can buy that provide the containers to save the seeds in, the equipment needed to preserve the seeds for next year, And it's a really cool idea, and it's just an all-inclusive kit. And I'm always a big fan of anything that gives you everything you need for a project in one place. That is an excellent option for almost any gardener on your list. This might be a good gift idea even if your gardener on your list hasn't saved seeds in the past. If you give them the seed saving kit, they may explore that as an option and find out they really like it, and it will be your gift that gave them that expanded view of how they garden. Number 8 is a Bluetooth speaker. So I bought this Bluetooth speaker off Amazon. I think it was $20 something, $25. And it is just for gardening. And I absolutely love it. I get to listen to podcasts while I'm gardening, or I get to listen to music that makes my gardening more enjoyable. And I would highly recommend getting that for the gardener in your life. An alternative to this is maybe getting Bluetooth earbuds. I have noise canceling earbuds that I use when I'm mowing, but I don't tend to like those when I'm gardening because I like to be able to hear the dogs and the sheep and the birds and the wind and the trees. So I like to be able to hear the world around me when I'm gardening. So for me, earbuds are not the way to go, but you may have a gardener who prefers earbuds. You can just ask or observe their behaviors and see what they like the best. For me, this Bluetooth speaker was a game changer. It didn't have to be this insane Bluetooth speaker that could like project a million miles away. It just needed to be a small little one that I could kind of move to different areas of the garden as I was working, and this one was perfect. And I will link this down below so that you can see which one I got, and maybe that'll start you on your journey to which one you want. Number 9 is hand care. So everyone I know that gardens is always complaining about how dry their hands are, how sad their cuticles are. So I would recommend you can get kits for the gardener in your life. And they really are. I think Burt's Bees makes them. I'll pop them up on the screen here just so you can see what they look like. But it's this whole entire hand kit, and it has something for your cuticles, and it has moisturizing hand lotion, and it has a variety of things that just allow them to take care of their hands after they've abused them in the garden. For me, I keep it pretty simple if you're wondering what products I use. So I subscribed to, what was it called? Petitvour, I think, which is like a cruelty-free, toxin-free subscription beauty box. And they sent me some really good items. I mean, I've adjusted the items I use based on what they sent me because they were that good. So one of them was the Air Tough Love Cuticle Balm. I've really loved using that, and I do use that pretty regularly, and it's just a little balm on the inside, and it works fantastic. So if you're looking for a specific product, I would recommend that one. I also use Be Kind as my super moisturizing hand lotion. It is rose scented. I'm not a big fan of the rose scent, but I'm a really big fan of how well this moisturizes my hands and keeps them moisturized. Again, these are all toxin-free, cruelty-free, so these are the 2 products that I swear by. But again, they make kits that you can just buy if you're unsure of what to buy, or you know that they like a specific brand. They often will make kits that are just like hand care kits that you can just give to the gardener in your life, and they can take care of their very dry hands and their sad cuticles. We need it. We need it. The last item on my list for the 10 things to buy, number 10, is, it might be a little strange to give a gardener that you don't know well, is not a conventional gift. I will admit that, but it's a tool that I love in my garden, and it's a stirrup hoe. I love that tool. I used it to clean out my garden beds. I'll post that video up above, and I will also show you what that tool looks like over here. And it is fantastic. It is a game changer in terms of taking care of weeding and kind of sloughing off vegetation off the top of your garden space. It's fantastic. I love it. So I would recommend getting your gardener that gift. It might be a little weird to hand them like a garden hoe, but it would be kind of funny. Like, you could wrap the whole thing so it looks like a garden hoe, and they'll be like, what's that? You just stick it under the tree. So that one is a little bit less conventional and a little less universal perhaps. They might have one, and if you have one, you don't really need another one unless yours breaks, heaven forbid. If you have a gardener who doesn't have one, that is a game-changing tool. I love that tool. So I recommend it. It's an odd one, but I still recommend it. I have 4 gifts that I want to say proceed with caution with. This doesn't mean that they're bad gifts, it just means that they might have some drawbacks depending on who you're giving them to. So the first one are those honeybee comb home things. You can buy them anywhere. I've seen them at Costco, I've seen them at Target, I've seen them advertised on Amazon. Like, they're just little honeycomb looking beehive homes. And they're cute and they're really sweet and everybody wants to save the bees, and that's fantastic, but it requires a lot of effort to keep those clean and safe for bees. Like, beekeepers work hard to make sure that their bees have a safe, sanitary, clean space. And so giving those as a gift could actually harm bees if someone isn't going to keep up with cleaning them and maintaining them. The other one similar to that is a hummingbird feeder. So hummingbird feeders need to be cleaned out. All bird feeders should be cleaned out, but especially hummingbird feeders because it's sugar water. Like, that just grows bacteria and things like that. It's important if you're giving a hummingbird feeder to someone that you know that they'll maintain it so that the hummingbirds don't get sick. The next one is probably going to be a little controversial, but I've seen it happen with a couple of people I know, and so I'm keeping it on this list of like proceed with caution. The indoor grow gardens. Some of them are pretty compact and it's not a big deal. Some of them are really large and take up a lot of space. And so I would say if you want to get someone an indoor grow garden type thing, I would say get one of those small compact ones, the kind that are like, we grow some herbs and that's about it, and it can fit on a counter. I would say steer clear of the ones that are like, you can grow a whole vegetable garden in your kitchen, because you don't know how much space they have to do that. So that's my only caution with that, is a space issue, and that's probably because I'm super sensitive because I have no space, and so I am very aware of when I get giant gifts that are really kind and thoughtful, but I have nowhere to put them. That's a little difficult. So always just keep that in mind. And then the fourth one that I would say proceed with caution with is seeds. I know that seems a little strange, but the more I'm in the gardening world, the more I realize that gardeners are very particular creatures, myself included, and we have a type of seed or a type of vegetable or a company that we like and we want to use. And so just giving them random seeds that you think, oh, this might be nice, those seeds may not get used. So some gardeners are totally into it and will like scatter those seeds and be happy. Other gardeners are like, that is not the type of plant I want to grow. That is not the type of vegetable. That is not the type of company that it's all wrong and I'm not using it. So I would just say it doesn't mean don't give someone seeds. It just means proceed with caution. If you know someone's very particular in how they operate in life and operate in their garden, maybe don't give them seeds. That might not work out super well. But if they're more loosey-goosey and they're more flexible, that's awesome. Give them seeds, they'll probably love it. Those are the 4 items that I would say proceed with caution, and it doesn't mean don't give them. It just means know who you're gifting to, which could be said for any gift, but I tried to make my 10 gardening gifts ones that you can pretty much universally give to anyone. The only exception to that might be the Stirrup hoe, and I'm just personally obsessed with that tool. It makes my gardening so much easier. So that might be a personal bias, but the rest of the 9 of that list should be a pretty universally acceptable thing to give to a gardener that they'll appreciate and use. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button down below, subscribe, let me know in the comments section the best gift that you've been given as a gardener or the best gift that you've given a gardener. My mother-in-law is an expert gardener. She's amazing. I'm always looking for good ideas to give her for her gardening efforts. So if you have any tips or tricks that are good for established gardening, then let me know in the comments section because I'm always on the hunt for that. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Bye! I'm tripping over my words today. Wow, the sentence went behind it loud. Well, if you're wondering what... Wow. All right.